What do we have for Sag? Wheel of Fortune, Sag, that is your energy at the foundation of the reading. Before I began, I got the download. They're spitting in your face after you tried to help them. Now, there's many different ways that this can show up, but simply put, it's somebody or somebody's that has been taking your kindness for weakness. You're very much on the precipice of major change in your life, Sag. It's as if you are standing on this threshold. You're looking out over this vast region that is this new beginning. But there's this overwhelming pressure that's coming from behind you. It's almost like a vacuum. You're pushing forward with all your might, all your strength. You're trying to overcome the obstacles. But for some reason, there's this energy that just won't let it be. Now, this can most definitely have to do with relationships in your life that you're moving on from, whether they're romantic, they're friendships, whatever they are. And the whole issue here is that the individuals that you're dealing with, it's not that they necessarily want to make up with you or want you back in their life because they know that's never going to happen. It's more of an energy of controlling your new beginning. They can't stand to see you move on. And as you can see on this depiction of the Wheel of Fortune, we're looking at it from this different vantage point, right? So it's as if you're this sphinx, right, on the top of the wheel, and then there's this devil. You're standing at the threshold. You're standing on the edge of this new beginning. And the reason why I feel they want you to see it from this perspective, Sag, is so you have a universal vantage point over how the universe is perceiving you in this very moment. And I feel that this is going to allow you to take this final step forward. We are most definitely in a time, astrologically speaking, where the timelines have shifted. Most of you can feel this. I just heard the world is waiting on you, your world, Sag, and it's time to go. But there's a perspective shift that needs to take place here. It's as if you need to upgrade your software to be able to navigate this new timeline. Now, the simplest way I can put this, Sag, is really having some sense of closure and forgiveness from within yourself as a means to push forward. The energies from these previous timelines are using every tactic in the book to hold on to you. And right now, you really need to cleanse yourself of these energies as a means to push forward and step into this new reality. The Wheel of Fortune is all about timelines. It's all about your destiny. And it's all about you seeing things from this bigger picture, like I mentioned, that universal perspective. You have this vision, Sag, and you're going to get there. But we need you... Eight of Wands in reverse, wow. I was going to say, but we need to get you out of the forest, so to speak. And what do we get? Eight of Wands. That's your energy again, Sag. In reverse at the sacral. Eight. You're in 8th house of Scorpio, which is all about transformation. Scorpio being the sign right before Sag. It's like you're in Scorpio energy right now, going through the transformation, going through the upgrades. But there's this energy that's trying to pull you back. And on this depiction of the Eight of Wands, it's as if somebody is throwing these arrows towards you, right? And then one of your spirit guides here is grabbing them and throwing them back. It's almost like you're under attack, energetically speaking. I always talk about how the devil will show up in our life and the situations, the people around us, to try and create delays and resistance on our path. This is exactly what I'm seeing here, Sag. You have somewhere to be. You have somewhere to go. But it's as if this energy is holding on for dear life. This could be somebody that you've moved on from, Sag, and they invest a lot of their time. I'm just seeing, wow. I'm seeing these glowing eyes in the pitch black. It's like you can see them in the distance. I can hear an owl, but not literally. It's in my mind. I see this picture. It's descriptive of the energy that this person holds. Some of you may have moved on from this person a very long time ago. And for others, it's going to be family as well. There seems to be a big problem around the Sag collective with people not wanting to see you do better without them. That's it. Everything I just channeled through up until this very point was to bring us to that particular message. They don't want you to be more creative now that they're not in your life. They don't want you to be aligning yourself toward financial abundance or whatever it may be now that they're not around, because it puts the spotlight on them. This is that kind of energy. I know this one all too well, Sag. I have Sag highly aspected in my chart, so I can relate to this energy. These are also the kinds of individuals that would never come back and even congratulate you if you finally had some sort of breakthrough, because it exposes them in some sort of way. This is a really good way to truly recognize the people that were always holding you back, right? Say you break away from individuals, people you're dating, friends, family. All of a sudden you start having movement in areas of your life that you've been struggling and striving to get movement in for decades, your whole life. But it's crickets from these individuals. You know they're watching from the sidelines. You know that they know what you're up to, but they don't come back and wish you well, give you their blessing, nothing. This is a really good way of recognizing who it always was, depending on how that resonates for you, because they're not happy for you. What do we have at the solar plexus, please? Wow, what an energy. Judgment, Pluto, Scorpio energy at the solar plexus. So I definitely felt that Scorpio energy, and here it is. It's like you're making your way through the 8th house of Scorpio, and there's this judgment angel and a divine courtroom, right? Here you are, Sag, male or female, doesn't matter. And you're like, yes, divine, these two weirdos have been holding me back my entire life. I would like to bring them toward judgment, please. And what it is that puts you in this position, Sag, is you having the strength to move on, not allowing this to take place anymore. You see, judgment, karma for the individuals that brought resistance and delays into your life is always triggered by you regaining control over your life and stepping into your power. Some people think that the divine will just come and rescue you from the hole that these individuals put you in. It's not like that. You got to crawl out of the hole, kind of like in Batman, right? When he crawls out of the pit. Once you put in the effort to get yourself out of that initial hole, so to speak, Sag, that's when the universe comes through and supports you, because you put the effort into standing up for yourself. This is what this is all about. The universe amplifies back to you what you project out. Now, whether it be good or bad, the point here is that you have access to a lot of power, but you have to take that first step. Once you do that, then you have the universe on speed dial, so to speak. You're able to call on protection. You're able to call on judgment in certain areas of your life, because this is all indicative of you aligning with your North Node and stepping on to your path to complete your mission and fulfill your destiny in this life cycle. There's also an energy here that I'm picking up in regards to some of these individuals that have been creating resistance in your life. It's as if you perceive them now in a way that you didn't perceive them before. This is when you may find yourself scratching your head at what you ever saw in them. Or if this is family members, it's you seeing them in a light that you didn't see. Or if this is friends, family members, it's you seeing them in a way that you just didn't see before. This is what awakening is. It's a shift in your perception. You know, awakening, ascension, evolution is you raising your vibration, your frequency. And typically when this occurs, you start to look at all the people and all the things you entertained, and for a lot of you, behavioral patterns as well. And it just seems so incredibly below where you are in that moment, beneath you. And, you know, I always add a little disclaimer there that it's not obviously advisable to look at people as beneath you. But when it comes to vibration, the universe is very aggressive, very polarized. You either are or you aren't. There is no gray area here, which is also illustrated in this card. We have the white birds going up. We have the black birds going down. I just heard eye of the storm, right? It's like you're in the center of the storm. But you're in control. There's this energy of balance that I feel here, Sag, which is what a lot of you are being guided to bring into your life right now. And that's actually in the astrology. What do we have at the heart, please? Wow. The world. Unbelievable. Confirmation after confirmation here. Taurus, Leo, Scorpio, Aquarius energy. And here you are again, right? Here's this portal. We're looking at you again. But there seems to be a step that you've taken beyond this wheel here, right? It's like the wheel is turning. You take the first step forward. There seems to be an energy where you've released this devil from your life, which causes the cycle to close out and the new one to begin. Right at the heart, right at the center of the reading, this is an energy of completion. Wheel of Fortune, followed by Eight of Wands in reverse, followed by the Judgment and then the World. This is a major cycle that's closing out in your life with a whole new one beginning, Sag. Picking up an energy here of something that is pending, but I feel that it's something within you. There seems to be an indication here of some sort of reorganization that you need to make within your life spiritually, Sag. This can definitely be making sure that you've closed out this particular cycle so you can begin the new one with a blank canvas, so to speak. But this is, again, speaking about the energy. I've also been getting inside other readings I've been doing for the past couple of weeks, and I'm getting it again here, Sag, for you. This is also in the astrology, and I have heard some other astrologists actually talk about this. Okay, so it does make sense that I have been getting messages and downloads and been feeling guided to speak to all of you about it. There's a major need for you to cleanse right now, okay? I was getting a lot of things surrounding a gut cleanse, balancing your gut microbiome. Also, water fasts is what I'm getting. And those of you that can't do a fast for whatever reason, there shouldn't really be any reason, but if you can't, intermittent fasting, okay? This is so important right now, Sag, because we completely forget that what we're going through, spiritually speaking, in regards to the transformations, needs to be supported within our physical vessel. We have a lot more control over what's taking place in the spirit than we know. And it really comes down to tweaking your physical body. Okay, so this can be working out, yoga, changing things up in your diet. It's the time to make really big changes in all these sorts of areas. These are all the things that you can control as well. And this is where all your focus needs to go right now. If you have some bad habits that you've been dragging along with you from karmic cycle to karmic cycle, it's really time to let that go. Because the problem with this is, Sag, is not only is it impacting your health in a negative way, but you're dragging residual energy, residual toxicity into these new beginnings with you. So one might argue, are you actually having a new beginning, or does it just look that way? Because what I have found in my own personal experience is that before I understood this, I would drag little things with me into new cycles. And this is before I read tarot, before I was or before I went through a spiritual awakening. And I would always feel like I was taking one step forward and 10 steps back. But you never realize that until some time has passed. You just wake up one day and you realize you've been running the same cycle over and over. There's all these little common denominators that a lot of us take with us. This is the area that you really need to put focus into right now. Are you feeling stuck? Are you feeling that there's things holding you back? Well, start looking at the finer details. This is what's going to give you that final push into this new timeline. What do we have at the throat, please? Wow, this really goes along with what I just said. Six of Cups, Scorpio energy at the throat. This is that energy that It's like it's sticking to you. It's like residual energy won't let you go. But remember when? Come on. It's like this energy that wants you living in the past right after the world. It's like you're on the precipice of this change. And it's interesting that I'm using this deck right now for this reading because it's almost as if the universe is saying to you, Sag, this is what's taking place. You have this new beginning, but there's this energy here, right? This is that energy that I picked up at the beginning of the reading. It shows up well-meaning, right? Pulls on your heartstrings, right? See these two elderly people? But we've been buddies forever. But we're family. But you and I, babe, This kind of energy. But it's like it's an illusion. Oh, wow. I just heard this so clearly. The devil scripted it, right? So it's like this is a veil. You rip it back and it's just this scene that's playing on this broken video recorder. It's just on repeat. There's something quite dark that I'm picking up with this Six of Cups at the throat, Sag. And you wouldn't think that when looking at this card. But it just depends on how you read it. This is the kind of energy that will also act like they care about you. But if you analyze what they're actually saying to you, they're planting seeds of self-doubt in a very veiled manner. So an example of this would be, I don't know if that's for you, but maybe this would be great for you. Something like this. It's an energy that wants you to think that your expectations for yourself are unrealistic. But they paint it up. They put a smile on their face when they tell you that. There's something very manipulative playing out here. This is also an individual that dresses themselves up real cute, real pretty, real handsome, whatever it is. But what they're presenting you with is something that is meant to derail you. The universe has a different way of looking at our lives, Sag, because they're looking from a higher perspective. They can see the final destination, the target, the goal. Everything in between is the noise and the distraction. Everything in between is the devil's matrix, the devil's maze. The universe does everything they can to try and guide us through this. But because we're so distracted by the matrix and the maze, it can become very challenging for us to hear the guidance and the messages. That's why things like meditation are so important. Changing up your diet, doing cleanses, all these things to really rid yourself of any sort of residual energy, toxicity, whether it's spiritually speaking or what's been building up inside your body. Because when you do this, you raise your vibration and those downloads and messages, that guidance becomes a little bit clearer, a little louder. So all these situations we deal with in the here and now are all little tests. It's all a game. It's like we're on a chessboard of life. Every move we make determines our path ahead. We've either shortened the distance to the intended target, or we've moved further away from it. And we don't really ever know. Sometimes we can feel like we're moving closer towards something, and that's just the universe telling you that you're on the right track. This is when things like number synchronicities come into play, because I feel that when you're seeing number synchronicities a lot, or you're hearing the ringing in your ears, it's like you're calibrating, you're aligning, and the universe is celebrating, so to speak, sending you kinds of Morse code or messages, however they can, in your environment to let you know you've made the right decision. But this right here feels like something that would pull you right back into that previous cycle, Sag. Like I mentioned at the beginning of the reading, it's like a vacuum pulling you backwards. But there seems to be something here where you can't see it. It's something, oh, wow. I've just extracted the message. I was about to say it's something that you will feel in your gut, which brings us right back to the message, the channeling surrounding you cleansing your gut, right? Makes perfect sense. When you have the toxicity buildup, there's almost an energy of not making the correct decision in that moment. So that's why we've been getting those downloads surrounding you focusing on that area of your health. What do we have at the third eye, please? Wow. 7 of Wands, Leo energy at the third eye. Very interesting. 6 to the 7, right? This gives you the sight to see, Sag. You all of a sudden now realize the veil is ripped back. This 6 of Cups is actually the Seven of Wands underneath it all. Seven of Wands is all about you feeling discouraged, overwhelmed. It's an energy that wants you to give up, wants you to lay down your weapon, which right now, Sag, is your confidence, wants your plans to stall out, wants you to let them back in so they can keep those midnight eyes on all of your moves, the eyes in the darkness, right there at the third eye. This is you tearing back the illusion, tearing back the simulation on your particular matrix. And you know, the matrix is going to show up different for every one of us. Our perception surrounding this is all based off of what's holding us back. So if you aren't stepping into your power, if you aren't taking the necessary actions in your life to move forward and become the greatest version of yourself that's ever existed on any timeline, that means you are stuck in the matrix of your life. If you are constantly making up excuses why you can't do something, this is you being stuck in the matrix of your life. It's programmed differently for each one of us, and it's all based off of the wounds that we have succumbed to in our lives. I honestly feel that we can take this all the way back to our childhood. That's where a lot of it exists. There's always a need for inner childhood healing for everybody. We never quite overcome this. We just get to a point where we can manage it. Healing is a lifelong effort. But if you can start to understand the ways in which the matrix, the devil, which are one and the same, go about attacking you in your waking life, then you can start to have a lot of fun with this game, Sag. And this is what the Seven of Wands at the third eye represents. This is all related to how you're perceiving your reality, your waking life. See, the way you can start to understand how the devil moves in your life, and again, the devil is just any form of resistance that shows up in your life. Most of the time, it's going to show up in people around us. They become extensions. It can also show up in behavioral patterns. It can show up with things that are ailing you in regards to your health. There's so many different ways. But at the end of the day, all of these things accumulate together. They all work in tandem, incrementally, to hold you back from stepping through this portal right here. This is what they cannot have take place. The Seven of Wands at the third eye is you waking up from the lie and stepping into your truth, pushing back up against the system of control that's been placed in your life. This is an energy of defiance. It's an energy of you taking a stand for yourself, Sag, and fighting for your life. What do we have at the crown, please? Oh, wow. Unbelievable. Lovers, Gemini energy at the crown. And the lovers in a spread like this is representing alignment. I just got some ringing in my right ear right as I was speaking. Okay, so the ringing in my ear, it was like a tone, a frequency, and I feel that this is representing the vibrational shift that's going to take place in your life. And lovers in a spread like this is all about alignment, calibration, right? The ringing in my ear, calibrating you. But it's happening through vibration, through frequency, through tones. You all could benefit right now by listening to really high vibrational, really positive kind of music right now. Reggae, right? Things like Bob Marley, jazz music. There's just something about this kind of music that does wonders for my particular energy. It just makes me really, really happy, really hopeful. And the beautiful thing about an artist like Bob Marley is his music is very revolutionary, the message behind it. Not only is it injecting a tremendous amount of hope into you, but it's also opening up your eyes to the things that we're speaking about here. There's this sort of revolutionary kind of message there. Okay, so just some personal suggestions for you there, Sag. Okay, but this is really what I'm getting off of this Lovers card right now, is you really setting the tone, okay, and literally speaking, because we are mentioning vibration and frequency here, all right? And as you can see here, these two individuals have the angel above them, which is representative of the divine. There's an energy here of calibration. But this, for you, Sag, is your feminine and masculine coming into balance. We all have these. So this is that energy of calibration and alignment. And as you can see, the sun is beaming down over this energy. And this is very clear here, because here you are overcoming this resistance, this illusion, this matrix in your life, pushing up against it, and boom. You step through the portal, and this is what's on the other side. It's like you've taken the first step into this new land, so to speak. And see how the tree with the apple and the snake crawling up is behind you now? It's like you've put the temptation behind you. And in this depiction as well, you can see that their palms are facing upwards. It's giving me the energy of divine guidance. You receiving the downloads by the steps we've channeled through for you. And this is what guides you, navigates you into this new beginning. What do we have at the foundation, please? Hangman, Bifrons, Pisces energy at the foundation of the reading. I read this card in its negative polarity. This is an energy of delay. There is an energy for some of you here that is trying to make a victim out of you, an energy of victimization. It's as if they want you to feel damaged and hurt by the actions that they used against you. They understand that when you allow yourself to slip into a space of victimization, you are essentially stuck inside the matrix of your life. These may even be individuals that are no longer in your life anymore, but that residual energy is still lingering around. It's stuck to your auric field. It's built up inside your body. Goes back to everything I just mentioned. And what's interesting about this illustration is there's just this kind of sticky look to it, right? This person's skin is hanging off their arm, but it just feels kind of goopy and sticky. And I just feel like this is really representing that energy that's hanging on you still. Again, damage that people have caused in your life, the energy of all that still lingering around, even though these individuals are no longer essentially in your life. Right? So quite often I have people coming to me for personal readings and they want to get in a new relationship. They've just exited something that was really toxic, but they haven't actually taken the time out to do the healing work, bring that heart chakra into balance, release any sort of bitterness and trust issues that may have been caused by that previous person, right? And the reason why this is so important is because if you carry this energy with you, you are now coloring your new beginning, and you can find yourself punishing somebody new that's coming into your life based off of what somebody else put you through. Okay, now there's probably not a single person that's listening to this reading right now that hasn't gone through this at some point in their life. And this goes back to, again, everything that we're speaking about in regards to this maintenance that all of you need to take. It's really a balancing of mind, body, and spirit, right? Releasing, forgiving, not forgiving anybody in particular. It's something that you do from within yourself. I always say that forgiveness can be seen as you having a sit down with your higher self, right? Your higher self, making sure that you've learned the lessons that you needed to learn from the karmic cycle you've overcome, and then you having that conversation of forgiveness, that you were unaware that that cycle that you've overcome was actually a part of this matrix of your life. It's you seeing things from a higher perspective and you realizing that you took a wrong turn somewhere on your path. But the beautiful part about all this, Sag, is when you start to have that forgiveness within yourself for taking that left when you maybe should have taken a right, this is when you're able to gather up the wisdom, the lessons that you've learned from taking that wrong turn. And this can be very empowering. And this is when you put purpose behind every step you've taken in your life, whether it be good or bad. And this is when you truly start to see that there's a divine plan unfolding in your life. And this is when you can take the devil's tactics and turn them right back around onto him. You empower yourself based off of what they attacked you with. What do we have for the sacral, please? Two of Pentacles, Capricorn energy, Ammon at the sacral. The Two of Pentacles from this deck represents disorder, your environment scattering your energy. And as you can see here, this demon has what looks to be a broken wrist. It gives me the impression that they want you to feel sorry for them. There is an energy here of victimization. So this goes back to what I was saying. Take the focus off of what has been ailing you. Move on from it. This is you no longer making up excuses why you can't move in a particular direction. This is where they want you. Well, I can't do this because this person did that to me, right? All this sort of nonsense. But there's many different ways that can show up. I can't do this because I don't have that. At the end of the day, Sag, being in this energy is exactly where the enemy wants you. It makes them ecstatic to know that you've succumbed to the tactics that they used against you. This is also an energy of disorganization, which has been coming up in the Sag Collective. This is also in the astrology. There's messages surrounding you needing to focus on organizing your life right now. Stop allowing things to build up. Bring more balance into your life. And all of this is going to work in tandem with the things regarding the maintenance with your health. So many people are waiting for spiritual awakening, evolution just to show up on their front doorstep, not understanding that a lot of the times the way you can trigger spiritual awakening is by doing things like fasting. You have a lot more control than you could possibly ever begin to imagine, Sag. You're the one that decides which direction to go. Yes, the divine is here to guide you, but remember, you have to maintain that channel. You know, when I think of intuition, I think of a highway. Sometimes I think of like a kind of tube, or I'll picture two kids in my mind's eye with the cans and the rope in between the middle, right? That's how I perceive our connection with our higher self, source, the divine. And it's really important that we're constantly maintaining that. Sometimes when I perceive it as a highway, I start to think about all the distractions that come into my life as traffic or debris that's blocking the flow of traffic either way. Something's trying to intercept the messages from getting through. And when I think about a tube, I think about a kind of kink in a hose, right? Which is an interesting one, because what I found is when I do things to maintain the connection, all of a sudden I'll have messages burst through, right? Kind of like when you kink a hose and all of a sudden water just comes shooting out, just like that. What do we have at the solar plexus, please? Oh, wow. Seven of Wands, Glacea Labalis. This card came out in reverse, but I read it in its negative polarity as is. All three of these cards I read as essentially reversals, negatives. 2 Seven of Wands on this table. 7 of Wands, 7 of Wands. 7 plus 7, 14. And this goes along exactly with what I just mentioned, Sag. You're really being encouraged to take time out right now and work on this connection with your higher self, with Source, the divine, your angels, whatever it is that you use to be able to compartmentalize Source energy. Remember, Source, the divine, the universe, are as loud as your willingness to listen. This is representing the disruption. This same card from one of my other decks, it has the same picture on it, but at the bottom, it says black magic, right? Black magic is just different forms of resistance that can show up in our life. It can show up in the way people speak about you negatively behind your back. It can also show up by people sitting around in a pentagram, casting spells out into the universe. There's just many different ways that this energy can try and disrupt you on your path. But overall here, it's just further reiterating the message here that is trying to make you feel very overwhelmed and discouraged, like you have some sort of disadvantage in regards to this new beginning that you are preparing to have in your life. Whenever I get the Seven of Wands, it's always a message as well surrounding people trying to, I feel, tamper with your reputation, right? This could be amongst friends, family, exes. Okay, I feel like that's being really highlighted here. But then they show up like this, right? 6 of Cups. Putting on a smile and putting on the sheep's clothing. What do we have at the heart, please? Sabnuk, Fall of Empires, which is the 5 of Swords, Aquarius energy at that heart position. This is an energy of termination. I feel like this is representing the ending right underneath that world. It's as if here you are, we're seeing you from this vantage point, stepping over the threshold, right? Through the portal into the new beginning. There's also this energy surrounding you being renewed, I feel. And then we have this Five of Swords, which it's almost like they're watching you move on. I feel that you're preparing to step into the season of your life where things are going to become more peaceful. I just feel that there's this little hump you have to get over with all of this. And again, it just comes down to the things that the universe is guiding you to do right now for yourself. So Five of Swords is also about you ending really unhealthy relationships in your life, moving on. For a lot of you, this could even be people that may be trying to get back into your life, but you need to understand that those relationships ended for a reason. You know, there are some rare cases where you can reignite connections with people. Maybe you've grown up and you've both evolved, things like this, but this is not what I'm getting here. This is not a message for those kinds of dynamics. The energy here is you moving on from people that, spiritually speaking, are your enemy in the face of your evolution because it threatens them, makes them feel small, makes them feel insignificant. It makes them feel like the spotlight is now on them. It says right there, fall of empires. So this can be related to you leaving a life that no longer serves you anymore, Sag. It's like leaving it all behind and starting again. There's this kind of crumbling of this old foundation, but very clearly you're being ushered into a timeline where you will be quickly building something back up that exists on something much more solid, something more concrete, real, and aligned with your path and who you really are. Five of Cups, Veolia, prosperity. Scorpio energy again. This is speaking on everything that I've mentioned, Sag, up until this point. This is you moving on. It's an energy of forgiveness. It goes back to what I said about you having that sit down with your higher self. It's also an energy of recovery. So I feel like this is highlighting again the things that you're being encouraged to do in your life right now that you have control over. That needs to be where your focus is. This is really the key. There's also this big release that I feel a lot of you are going to have. So you're being guided in the direction of doing things to support this in happening. Now, it can show up for all of you differently, okay? But you want to try and push for this to happen, okay, by taking these steps here. This is going to be everything for you right now. And this is going to really allow you to step into this new beginning anew, fresh, revived, and ready to go, Sag. Pave the way for the release to happen. What do we have at the throat, please? Unbelievable. Page of Swords, Gemini, Libra, Aquarius energy at the throat. Ha'a'ia, God the refuge. Governs dreams and reveals mysteries hidden from mortals. And this depiction of the Page of Swords is somebody who clearly has their mouth wrapped up like they can't speak, and they're looking at you, Sag, like you're on a poster. But it's just indicating them seeing you in this new beginning. They see you from the sidelines, right? And the Page of Swords is all about gossip. This is the midnight eyes, right? The glowing eyes in the dark. This is exactly the card that would represent that particular message that I gave to all of you. And it's right underneath the Six of Cups, right? So here they are. I bet I can get Sag to take this. Clearly, you don't accept whatever this is here. We see what unfolds, and now here you are on the other side of it in the new timeline. And sometimes it just really depends on your own set of circumstances, but a lot of these people just become non-existent in your life. And if this has to do with, let's say, family members or old friends or something like this, it's as if these people just kind of drop off. You just never hear from these people again. You never see them again, but you can feel them watching you. This is exactly what I'm getting here. And for those of you that still have to have these individuals in your life, it's just indicating a very jealous kind of energy. It's almost an energy of, maybe I made a poor decision. Maybe I shouldn't have let Sag go. I feel for a lot of you as well that these were the kinds of people that you just started to see. We're all talk, no action, right? just piles of these undelivered promises that these individuals had made to you, just all accumulated. It just got to a point where you couldn't take anymore. It's like you move on, you step into your power. Now all of a sudden they want to come back, or they want to try and make good on something, and something really toxic here. At the end of the day, these are those energies that just don't see it from the perspective like you do. They're trapped inside their own matrix. You just have to allow for them to learn the hard lessons on their own now. What do we have at the third eye, please? Six of Cups again, Salia. 2 6 of Cups, 2 7 of Wands. 66. I'm getting a further message surrounding this 6 of Cups after this 6 of Cups came out, because this is also indicating you needing to consider your next steps carefully. That's for you individuals that are like, oh, well, maybe, right? You're entertaining this, okay? But hopefully, after hearing this reading, the message would have gotten through. 6 of Cups, Salia, Scorpio energy again. God who steers all men. Motivation lifts up those who are fallen and humiliated. God who steers all men, right? Really speaks about the divine communicating with you to help you get through the maze, help you overcome this energy right here. Help you overcome the nostalgia, the remember whens. And this is all representing these people from your past. You don't know how much somebody is holding you back until you give yourself the opportunity to put some distance between you and that individual. Really get a universal perspective over your connection with them. You know, years ago, I cut so many people out of my life over the course of a couple of years, and my life just started to move in leaps and bounds. I just started to have all these doors open up and started to have success in areas where I just never thought I could ever have success. I didn't think it was for me. I got into the point in my life where I just didn't necessarily give up on succeeding, but I just started to entertain the idea that maybe I just wasn't meant to have certain things in this life cycle. And boy, was I wrong. It all had to do with the individuals I had surrounding me, you know, and some were more damaging than others. But what I found was when I removed all of these people with one clean sweep, boom, elevation, something just happened. And I came to the conclusion that all of them kind of worked in an incremental fashion to hold me back. There's just so many different ways this can show up. From friends to family members to exes, all of this. It was just all parts of my own individual matrix. And this is what this 6 of Cups right here is representing. It's representing you leaving all of that behind, getting your wings, so to speak, and having liftoff in your life. So I encourage any of you out there that are feeling held back, feeling resistance in your life, and you don't know why, you need to start looking at your exterior environment. Behavioral patterns as well, it's a big one. Sometimes it's going to be a combination of things exterior to you and things that you're doing that are unhealthy. All of these things, again, are going to work to keep you from stepping into a new beginning. Look at the details, Sag. What do we have at the crown to close us out for Sag, please? Oh, wow. 6 of Pentacles, Taurus energy. Aladia at the crown to close out the reading. The favorable God. Divine grace cures rage and pestilence, absolves the guilty. The 6 of Pentacles in this particular reading is you now being in this giving and receiving energy with the universe. This is you showing up for yourself. And remember what I said. When you show up for yourself, when you step into your power, when you climb out of that pit, so to speak, like Batman, right? This is when the universe comes through, cloaks you, and helps you on your way, because you've taken the first step in the direction of you aligning with your mission as a means to fulfill your destiny. And this is exactly what this represents. And it says right there, absolves the guilty. This is you having a release of any sort of guilt that may have built up within you, Sag, in regards to this particular cycle that you're moving on from. And this is, again, going to be released from you when you take these steps in regards to all of the things that you can control in the here and now. It's so interesting that here you are being held back by this energy, trying to move on from this particular cycle in your life, holding on to all this guilt that is completely unsubstantiated because it's all based off of this kind of illusion, this kind of matrix. This is you seeing things from a completely different perspective. This is you forgiving yourself and moving forward and truly stepping into this new beginning, a new version of yourself, and ready for what's next. Lovers stacked with Six of Pentacles. And you being ready in a way that you haven't been before to enjoy the rest of your life. Sag, this is the message I have available to you, depending on where you are on this timeline, should you choose to accept. I'm going to go ahead and leave it here. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. And if you would like a personal reading, you can find all of my contact details in the description below this video. And thank you for your donation, Sag. Take care.